Hey, I'm with JackOfAllTrades playing the worst Undertale dating simulators we could find. Today we're playing Undertale, the visual novel. We're gonna play more dating simulators like this, so subscribe if you want to see the other ones.
The quick stretch, you wake up in your room. Your eyes slide open to view your ceiling coming into focus. For a moment, you chuckle quietly to yourself as you forget your name due to lack of sleep.
Wait, what?
What was that first part again?
Oh,
we gotta type. Okay, cool. What's our name?
Faker Schmagel.
Yeah. First name Fanker, last name.
Oh, okay.
Fanker.
Very intuitive. I can't wait for this to just not be our name at all.
You don't get any choices. Right, so your name is Fanker Schmagel. You know that the default name is Robin Van Dorn.
Okay.
This is the generic name for the character and may have been entered if you didn't type anything. Surprisingly enough, you managed to forget your pronouns as well.
I think we leave it mysterious with they, them, you know?
Yeah.
Could be anything.
It's true to the lore. Of course. Maybe it's time to stop watching that new show with that robot before bed.
What?
Maybe a quick look at your soul would encourage you again. You take a hand to your chest and take a deep breath. Summon your life force forth as it gently lights your hands. What color was it? No bearing on the storage desk where it's available.
Okay.
Okay, so we got determination, orange, bravery.
I don't know, perseverant. He's definitely perseverant when he's dating people.
Yeah. I say we go purple. Perseverance.
Yeah, I agree.
Purple. The royal color reminds you to push forward no matter what happened. It was a day like most others. You got out of bed and started to grab your clothing that you would need for work before heading to take a shower. You look at yourself in the mirror for a moment and give a small smile at what you see.
We're not even at eye level to the mirror. How would we do that?
Though that wasn't what you were to focus on right then. You turned on the shower radio you were given at your work's Secret Santa last year as you started to bathe. You are now listening to classical radio on this December day. It's going to be another cold one out there, folks. However, reports say it shouldn't snow until later in the week. Whatever the case, remember to stay buttoned up, folks. Now, a classic tune. A sense of nostalgia you get washes over you as you listen to the song from your youth. It really brings back memories.
Exposition?
World exposition, main
just
character
choose what you
exposition,
see
or
the
no
exposition.
exposition. I want to know more about Fankerschmangel.
Yeah, to be honest, I want to know more about Fankerschmangel too.
Character name. Your character is Fankerschmangel. Fanker or Schmangel, depending on who you ask. The character has no affiliation with the events that occurred in Undertale.
Dang.
You're a human living alone in an apartment complex in the midst of a town surrounding Mount Ebbet City. Despite living there for a few years, the character can be quite shy when it comes to starting a conversation. However, once it's started, they will always reply politely and promptly.
Oh yeah, that sounds
You have
okay.
a job at an office building where you work in sales, but that's been growing fairly stale for over the years. It's been just over a year since the legendary Frisk liberated the monsters from the underground. No affiliation with Undertale. Since then, the child has managed to obtain peace between humanity and monsters. No affiliation with Undertale. Discrimination is always in situations like this, but you think to yourself as fairly open-minded. Luckily, throwing monsters around the place can get whatever jobs they want as long as they're qualified and the employer has an open mind. No affiliation to Undertale.
Unfortunately, no employers have open minds.
Enough thinking about the past. It's time to go.
Is this what you do every time in the shower?
You step out of the shower and dry yourself off, head into the other room to make breakfast while you turn the TV off. Television flickers to life and slowly focuses on the same channel you left it on last night. MTT TV.
Oh.
The robot was supposedly a star from the underground, and his talent shifted easily up here. He had managed to secure the local television slot all for himself, and his YouTube was reaching popularity surprisingly quickly. Something about him just seemed to allure people, no matter what his form was. Once the television turned on, you focus more on your food. I don't think the greatest chef in the world, but you managed to get it done. Isn't it the most healthier thing in the world? But everyone needs sugar in the diet, right? What do we eat? What do we need? What do we...
The plastic apples, don't you see them?
Oh, yeah. And then it gives a good crunch. Whatever the case, you eat it happily. What do we eat as you watch the show? Well, currently, though...
They don't want to get too controversial.
It's because the commercial break. Or it would be if the robots actually read commercials. Instead, it's just slow motion footage of rose petals falling on the robot's spot. You guys probably better conserve power and shut off the TV, eating your breakfast quietly. Make sure to grab your notebook and stuff it into your bag. It's a bit torn, but it's got your memories intact. Afterwards, you draped your coat on around yourself and placed your bag strap over your shoulder as you headed out the door. You lived on the 5th of 10 floors, but there's an elevator there, luckily. You don't know anyone else here, and the last apartment just next to yours has been empty since you moved in. The elevator slid open, its cold interior empty and waiting. Silence struck around you. Oh, I like the borders, by the way. They couldn't
there's
find
no
transparent picture.
There's no buttons on this elevator, so...
Yeah, they know where you're gonna go. That quiet hum buzzes in its face. Took this elevator every single day, but it always felt longer no matter how many times you went on it. Once you made it to the bottom, you stepped past the front desk and headed out into the cold, calmly walking along to your office. Halfway through your walk, you passed the local school. Pretty certain it was the one that employed that monster teacher. Though as you're lost in thoughts, you trip over something and land in a garden of some sort of flower. Buttercups. After ring out from a group of children that you must not have seen.
Oh god.
Sorry about that. Must have been an accident.
They're all shadow monsters.
You groaned, turned back to the kids, and as they laughed at you, trying to think of some sort of retort. Luckily, though, you don't need to. A woman's voice cuts through the air. Flint! Don't dare!
Are they all named Flint?
Don't think I didn't see that. Yeah, the amalgamation is known as Flint.
They look like Flint.
Smug expression that was on the child's face soon faded in
What expression?
More notable fear.
What face?
The man-made horror is beyond my comprehension. You look down at yourself inside, but also the dirt as a couple pairs of feet started to step in your direction again. Oh dear, you alright? You look up to see who was talking to you, only to see a monster woman that's easily 6 feet tall, trailed by a children winter goat. She offers you a hand with a small smile.
Very pixely compared to the rest of the world.
Huh? I'm terribly sorry about those boys. They could be quite rowdy. With an even smaller smile in return, you reached up to take her hand. Her grip was surprisingly firm, but she hoisted you back up to your feet with ease and got you out of the flowers you were pushed into. Oh, it's alright. I remember when I was in elementary school like them.
No, we were just mute.
So did I. The woman gave a gentle giggle in response, then folded her hands together in front of her. Even still, behavior like that should never be tolerated. My name is Toriel, caretaker of most of these children. Pleasure to meet you, Toriel. I'm Fanker. Toriel.
Hello.
Toriel smiled again and was about to respond before the child was behind her stepped forward.
Pushed her out of the way.
Looking up at the other human with apparently closed eyes. Oh, and this is Frisk. I've watched over them for about a year now. You're about to introduce yourself to the child before the realization of the name hits you. Frisk?
Fricks?
Hang on, are you? Frisk gave a small nod, their expression unchanging. Oh, you must have seen them on the news. Pride seems to strike a chord in her voice. However, before you can speak more, the bell rings at the school, signaling only a few more minutes until classes were to begin.
Was the story boring you?
Oh, heavens, I apologize, but I feel that I must go. Perhaps we can meet again some other time. Really? I'd love to. Thank you. Toriel nods again, then gently takes Frisk's hand and starts to head towards the school. However, she delivers a final wave over her shoulder. Goodbye, Fanker. You return the wave with a smile before realizing that that probably means you need to hurry up to work as well. It's only a short walk before you get into the office.
Why is everything tilted?
I don't know. It's kind of
an earthquake.
All around the country and world, but that as much never really stood out to you. The reason you took the job here was the pay was incredible and the area here was quite nice. Plus, you had worked in an office for a year beforehand and did quite well there, so this new company offered you a job. The only shame was that you hated this job. You never got the chance to speak to anyone except your boss, though aside from sometimes bringing in pretty good cookies when there was a party, they were hard to like. A change might be necessary soon. Strangle! Just hearing that lets you know the next 10 minutes are going to be annoying. You turn your chair around to the face of the manager of your branch, deciding it's best to see what they have to say before jumping to conclusions. Yes, ma'am? I want to know why you were late. Despite your best attempts to explain the situation for a while, she eats up more of your time by berating you with nonsense. Finally, though, once she's gotten her anger out of the way, she stops away to slam the door shut behind her in her own office now. Give me more pictures of Spider-Man, which she probably said. You just take a deep breath and try to focus on your work again, mainly hoping that this will all get better soon, one way or another. Finally, the day is done. You managed to get out a few hours early today, so you should have plenty of time to kill. Plus, it's the weekend, so the bonus is even better to experience. On your way home, your stomach starts to faintly grumble. You realize that you never actually ate lunch at work.
What the heck?
Jeez, I guess it's time for an early dinner. Your eyes scan over the various buildings along the way. Most of them are overpriced and not even very good quality to begin with. The place you usually went to was quite near your home, but it closed down just a short while ago. Man, this is deep.
Wow, the lore of Fankerschmegel is deep.
However, you seem to notice a new place on the way home.
So when does the dating start?
That's what I'm wondering. A cafe? That seems like a pun or something, but you can't place exactly. The Central Smirk. With a shrug, you decide to head on into the restaurant. What's the worst that could happen? Oh my god. Oh my god. Instantly after stepping inside, you feel warmed up by the interior of the place. That was likely due to the bartender made of flames behind the counter currently being chatted with by a skeleton about half his height.
We could see that.
A monster-run cafe? Interesting. I wonder if they have any unique foods from the underground. The bell from the door jingles behind you as you step to the counter, finally catching the attention of the two running your place. The short and big-boned skeleton leans against it as you sit yourself down, giving a grin that never seemed to leave his face. You didn't know how to take it. It was quite uncanny, really. Hey, kiddo, what'll it be?
Oh, see, now this is one that's in Comic Sans.
Yeah. Try scanning them and you realize that about every food here is a puddle of some sort. Oh, well, I've never been here before. What do you recommend? The skeleton takes a hand across the counter and offers it to you with that same grin as always present. Name's Sans the skeleton. And you are? Forward and shake his hand in your own. I'm Fanker. It's a pleasure to... A low sound interrupts you. A constant stuttering low... There's a whoopee cushion in the skeleton's hand that you're almost certain wasn't there a few moments ago. The skeleton lets out a laugh like it's the funniest thing in the world, disappearing behind the counter as he holds a hand to his ribs and sinks down. Probably. Even the fiery bartender lets out a soft chuckle that almost sounds like sparks flying from the fireplace. I would recommend either the burger or the fries, if you were unsure. The man of fire shrugs. And before you ask, my Fanker, my name is Grilby, or G.
That's Schmegel to you.
Gribs, depending on who you speak to. What do you want? A small tongue contemplates the
He
options.
has to go through all his nicknames to
Burger,
everyone.
fries, or you.
Oh, here's where the dating starts. You know, Fankerschmegel, he's all about that perseverance.
Oh yeah, baby. I'm saying you. With a wink and an awkward finger snap, as a strange surge of confidence flew through you, you utter the pickup line that materialized. With I want you, but...
What a pickup line.
He's silent for a moment as he stares through you, the warmth surrounding his fiery cheeks slowly picking up in a fluster as he seemed to realize what you meant by that. How about an actual order?
Dang, that went so well.
What do we mean, burgers or fries?
Burger.
Burger. He silence as he goes into the back room, supposedly to make the burger. Victory Sand straightens out again and brushes a cyan-colored tear from his left eye. It was hard to, A, imagine him having laughed that hard about a whoopee cushion, and B, contemplate a skeleton crying. What next? A tongue? Oh, don't. There's too much art of that I have seen. People put sands in the camera like, oh yeah, he's actually canonically got a tongue. Jeez. What was that thing you said to Grills? It's probably not important.
Why are you eavesdropping on me? What the frick?
He'll be back with your burger in a minute. So, kid, what brings you to this part of town? I was heading home from work. The other place I normally eat at closed down. Sand shrugged and looked back around the place. Well, I can safely say you're at least second in our list of best customers. He winked and looked back to you. We've only had two. Strange. You gain the strange urge to jump up to that number one spot.
It's that perseverance.
It only takes a few seconds longer for Grilby to step back out again with your food.
Completely nude.
Yeah. Bon appetit.
Oh.
Grilby shrugged. He thinks it's legally required to say that for every meal served. Whatever the legality of the situation may be, you chuckle quietly to yourself and start eating. The meal goes on like that for a few minutes as you eat, occasionally stopping to chat to one of the people behind the counter. Soon though, you finish your plate and sit back with a smile, brushing the grease off your hands on a napkin you were given with your meal. Oh, man, that was delicious. How much do I owe you two? The pair look at each other silently for a moment, looking back to the human. Grilby starts to clean the cup of the rag, despite it already looking spotless. Free of charge for our second best customer.
No wonder they don't have any business. Just give out everything for free.
Even just the idea of the statement throws your internal feelings out of whack. Wait, really? This seems counterintuitive to your business. Hold on, doesn't this also make me their worst customer technically?
You just figured out the joke.
Sans shrugs and looks around the place. I'll be alright. Still got a lot of funds saved up from watching After Paps. Working 6 jobs will do that to you, huh? Well, hell, I really appreciate it. Skeleton smiled, though, when he wasn't you doing that, and shook his head. No need to be so worried about it, kiddo.
Really forced that one.
You snicker again at the pun and stand up from your chair, slinging your bag over your shoulder again. If you say so, I'll be sure to come by here again sometime. And I'll actually pay then. Well, I would hope so. Chances are you won't be our second best customer by then. Grilby gives a small nod of thanks towards the human and holds up a hand to give a thumbs up. His face didn't have many features aside from the glasses, but the gestures was enough.
And that's all for the first part. If you want to see how this ends, click that end screen in the middle, unless it's not there, in which you should subscribe and turn on notifications to see when it comes out.